I never believed in destiny until the night mine caught fire. The forest around me burned like a living beast, its flames clawing at the sky. Smoke filled my lungs, tearing into me with every breath, but still I ran. Branches cracked and fell like spears. Sparks seared my skin. My legs trembled beneath me, yet something deeper pushed me forward, as if survival itself wasn't mine to decide. When I stumbled into a clearing, my knees hit the ash-black earth. I gasped, choking, clutching my chest. My heartbeat faltered wild, uneven, desperate. In that moment, I knew. This was it. Death had finally reached for me. And then I saw him. Through the smoke and fire, a figure stood untouched by the inferno. Wings stretched wide, black as the midnight sky. Feathers tipped with ember-like light. His eyes glowed silver, piercing me from across the flames. He was terrifying, beautiful, unreal. I wanted to cry out, but my voice was gone. My body gave in, collapsing to the ground. My vision darkened, and as the world slipped from me, I felt a presence kneel at my side. A hand cold as stone, yet strangely tender, lifted me from the dirt. "Not yet," a voice whispered. Deep and broken, like it carried centuries of sorrow. My last breath escaped me. I swear I felt it leave my lips like a thread cut loose. And then impossibly it returned, pulled back into my lungs as though stolen and given again. My body jolted. My eyes flew open. And there he was, inches away, his face carved with shadows, his lips stained with crimson. He wasn't an angel, not the kind sung about in hymns. He was something fallen. And whatever he had just done, it bound me to him. The world didn't return gently. My chest burned, my head pounded, and yet the ache wasn't only from the smoke. It was from him, the stranger whose wings curled around me like a shroud. "Who are you?" My voice was weak, ragged, but I had to ask. His gaze softened, though sorrow lingered in it like a storm. "No one you should have met." I tried to pull away, but his grip only tightened, gentle, unyielding, as if he feared I'd break apart if he let go. "You were dying," he said. "Your last breath was already gone." His jaw clenched. "I couldn't let you go." His words sank into me like a curse. My heart should have screamed in fear, but it didn't. It raced instead, each beat betraying me, as if it had already chosen him. The forest hissed and crackled, trees collapsing under the flames. Yet, inside the circle of his wings, I felt untouched, suspended between life and death. "Why?" I asked again, whispering against the chaos. "Why me?" For a moment, I thought he wouldn't answer. Then his lips curved not into a smile, but into something pained. "Because you are the first breath I've wanted in 100 years. I should have screamed. I should have fought. But all I could do was stare at him, searching for proof that he was real." His wings folded slowly, feathers dragging across the ground with the sound of silk tearing. And when the light of the fire caught his face, I saw the truth. Fangs glinting where his lips parted. A vampire. A fallen angel. A creature caught between heaven and hunger. And somehow, impossibly, he had chosen me. The air shifted suddenly, heavy with something primal. From deep within the woods, a howl shattered the silence. Low, powerful, and full of warning. The vampire's expression hardened instantly. "They've sensed me," he muttered, standing to his full height, his wings stretching wide again. He turned his face back to me, silver eyes flashing. "You must not follow me. Do you understand? Stay away from the wolves." The wolves. The word echoed through me, stirring something deep in my memory. Old stories, whispered warnings, tales of guardians who ruled these lands under the full moon. They were said to protect humans from creatures like him. But in that moment, staring into his eyes, I wasn't sure I wanted protection. Before I could speak, he was gone. One beat of his wings, one gust of wind, and the sky swallowed him whole. I was left alone in the clearing, the fire dying to smoke around me. My chest still burned, but not from the smoke anymore. It was from the way his breath lingered inside me, as if my life no longer belonged to me. And maybe it did and single quotes T. Because in the silence that followed, I realized something terrifying, something impossible. The last breath I'd taken, the one he'd given back, wasn't mine anymore. It was his. I didn't sleep that night. The fire had died, leaving only smouldering embers and the sharp sting of ash in the air. My heart refused to settle, as if it still belonged to him, the fallen angel who had stolen my last breath. I kept seeing him. In every flicker of shadow, in every rustle of leaves, in the echo of my own ragged breathing. It wasn't just memory. It was hunger, his presence lingering in my blood, in the rhythm of my pulse. I had never felt anything like it, and part of me was terrified. Part of me wanted it. Morning came, weak and grey, revealing the ruined clearing. The footprints of the fire were gone, erased as if the forest itself had swallowed the evidence. But the ache he left in me was permanent. Then I heard it, the low, rolling sound of wings. I turned instinctively. He landed silently a few feet away, black feathers brushing the ground like liquid night. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice low, carrying the weight of centuries. "You don't know what follows me." "I don't care," I said, though my voice trembled. I didn't fully understand why I was brave enough to speak at all. "I need answers." "Who? What are you?" He studied me, his silver eyes catching the dim light. He was impossible to read. And yet, for the first time, I saw vulnerability flicker behind the predatory edge, the faintest tremor in his shoulders, the tension in his hands. "I am not what you think," he said finally. "I am cursed. I am hunted. And yet, I am tethered to you now. Do you understand what that means?" I shook my head, heart hammering. "Tethered?" He knelt, bringing his face close to mine. "Your last breath. You survived only because I took it. I gave it back. But in doing so, I marked you. You are mine in ways you cannot see, in ways you cannot fight." I wanted to scream. I wanted to pull away. And yet every instinct in my body leaned into him. My blood sang to his. My lungs ached for the taste of his air. The air shifted again. A howl, closer this time, rolled through the trees. The alpha, the protector, the warning I'd been told to heed. He froze, muscles tensing like steel springs. "They are near. You must leave now." "I won't leave," I said, startling even myself. "I don't care who's near. I can't just walk away from you." He stared at me, incredulous. "You don't know what you're saying." "Yes, I do," I whispered. "I've never known anything like this. I don't understand it. I don't want to, and yet, I need it. I need you." Something raw, desperate, flickered across his face. He reached out, his fingers brushing my cheek light as a shadow, yet leaving fire in their wake. "You don't know what this will cost you," he said. "I am not safe. I cannot give you safety or peace. I can only take." "Then take me," I breathed, my voice breaking. I had never spoken like that before, never allowed myself to feel this way. But it was true. Every part of me, every trembling, terrified part wanted him. Even if it destroyed me. He leaned closer, close enough that I could see the silver glint of his fangs, the ghost of a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "If I do, there will be no going back. You will be bound to me, to shadows, to hunger, to danger." "I know," I said. "I don't care." A flicker of pain crossed his features, and I realized he was fighting something inside himself. A beast, a curse, a desire he could not tame. And yet he stayed. He lingered, looking at me as though weighing eternity itself against a single heartbeat. Then, with a motion that was both violent and tender, he swept me into his arms. My body reacted instantly, pressing against him, drawn as if by gravity. I smelled smoke and earth, wings and midnight, and my mind spun. He carried me silently through the trees, shadows bending around him as if the night itself obeyed his will. "Where are we going?" I asked, breathless. "To a place you will be safe," he said, though I didn't hear conviction in the words. Safe from them, but not from me. I wanted to laugh or cry, but neither came. I only pressed closer, feeling the steady pulse of his heartbeat beneath my ear, feeling the weight of his wings folding around me like a dark cloak. And I knew, with a clarity that both thrilled and terrified me, that my life had changed forever. He had taken my last breath, and now he had taken my heart. Somewhere deep in the woods, the alpha howled again. This time, it was not a warning. It was a challenge. And I realized that whatever came next, danger and desire would walk side by side. Because I was bound to a fallen angel, and he was bound to me. And nothing, neither light, nor fire, nor the world itself would ever untangle us again. The forest was darker now, the air thick with wet leaves and the scent of earth. Even the night seemed to hold its breath as we moved. He carried me effortlessly, shadows folding around his wings like a cloak, and I felt both weightless and trapped all at once. Every brush of his feathers against my skin sent shivers racing down my spine, a maddening mixture of fear and longing I couldn't deny. I tried to understand him, tried to piece together the fragments of his truth, the fallen angel, the vampire, the man who had stolen my last breath. But the harder I tried, the more impossible it became. "You've bound me to you," I said softly, forcing words into the space between us. "Why? Why me?" He didn't answer at first. His wings shifted, stretching, rustling against the trees like whispered secrets. Finally, he said, his voice low, almost reluctant, "Because you survived. Because something about you calls to me. I've been cursed for centuries, wandering, hunting, and yet," he paused, jaw tight, "I've never wanted anything the way I want you." I pressed closer, though I knew it was dangerous. His honesty was a knife, cutting through the fear I'd held onto so desperately. "And the wolves?" I asked. "The alpha?" His expression darkened. "They know you are mine now. They will come, and they will not forgive." That's when I heard it, a growl, deep and reverberating, shaking the very ground beneath us. My heart slammed against my ribs, and I realized it wasn't the wind. Something or someone was watching. "Stay behind me," he warned, his voice almost a growl itself. His hand tightened around my waist, pulling me closer. I could feel his heartbeat beneath my chest, strong and unyielding, and it made my own pulse spin in ways that frightened me. A figure stepped from the shadows, tall, muscular, eyes glowing gold, reflecting the faint moonlight through the canopy. The alpha. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice low and commanding, a warning and a demand wrapped into one. "Step away from her." "I cannot," I said before I could stop myself. The words shocked me as much as them. I was supposed to be terrified, but instead, my mouth betrayed me, confessing what my heart already knew. "I can't." The alpha's gaze sharpened. "She belongs to no one," he growled. His stance radiated power, danger, and unyielding authority. "You," his eyes flicked to the fallen angel, "will regret touching her." The fallen angel didn't move. He simply folded his wings slightly, the shadows around him thickening, black and alive. Touching her, he repeated, voice low, dangerous. She's mine, and you know it. The tension snapped. Air vibrated with the threat of violence. My body trembled, caught between them. One was death and hunger incarnate, the other alpha and protection incarnate. Both dangerous, both irresistible. And I, stupid, foolish, terrified me, was caught in the middle. Why are you here? I asked, almost desperately, ignoring the fear clawing at my chest. Why follow me? Why care? The alpha's jaw tightened. Because they took you from me first. The first time you breathed, I knew something was wrong. You belong in my pack safe. And he gestured toward the fallen angel, wings like midnight. He will not give you that safety. The fallen angel stepped closer to me, closing the distance until I could feel the heat radiating from him, his breath brushing my cheek. Safety? He hissed, eyes flashing silver. You think you can protect her? You cannot even protect yourself from what she wants. I wanted to scream, to pull apart the two titans clashing around me. But the moment I looked at him, my fallen angel, I felt my knees weaken. My chest ached. My mind spun. Everything in me wanted to lean into him, to feel the dangerous magnetism that had claimed me from the first touch. I don't know what I want, I admitted, trembling. Enough. The alpha's growl shook the trees. You must choose. Now. Before it's too late. I froze. My mind raced, heart pounding. How could I choose between them? Between danger and desire, darkness and protection, obsession, and something I couldn't name but felt deep in my bones. He, my fallen angel, leaned closer, wings curling around me, voice like silk and steel. You don't have to choose. You can stay with me, forever. But know this, once you do, there is no turning back. You will belong to me entirely. The alpha stepped closer, eyes blazing gold. If you stay with him, you will lose more than you can imagine. I will fight for you. But this isn't just about me. It's about survival. Your life. Your soul. I closed my eyes, caught in the storm of temptation and fear, desire and danger. My lips ached to speak, to cry out, but no words came. Only the pounding of my heart, the pull of his wings, the raw, magnetic heat that drew me toward him like gravity itself. And in that suspended moment, I realized the truth. I was already lost. Not to one, but to both. My heart and my breath no longer belonged to me. They belonged to the darkness, to the temptation, to the fallen angel who had stolen my last breath. The alpha's growl, low and warning, echoed again. The shadows around us stretched, alive with tension, danger, and inevitability. And I knew with certainty that nothing would ever be the same again. The forest was alive with danger that night, more alive than I had ever felt. Every rustle of leaves, every whisper of wind seemed to carry a warning. My chest throbbed with a tension I couldn't explain, part fear, part desire. I knew both of them, my fallen angel, the one who had stolen my last breath, and the alpha, protector, hunter, were watching me, waiting, ready to claim me in ways I wasn't sure I could survive. We had stopped at the edge of a clearing, moonlight pooling over the ground like spilled silver. The fallen angel stood before me, wings folding and unfolding slowly, as if testing the air. He said nothing, but the weight of his gaze pressed into me like a physical force. "You're close to him," he said finally, voice low and almost dangerous. "I can feel it. You're drawn to him, even when you shouldn't be." I swallowed hard, heart hammering. I I don't know what to do, I whispered. My fingers clenched the fabric of my coat. I can't stop feeling everything for both of you. His eyes softened suddenly, and for the first time, he looked entirely human, entirely broken. He stepped closer, and I could feel the heat of him even through the chill of the night. His hand lifted, brushing my cheek with a touch that made my knees weaken. I didn't want this, he said, voice trembling. But you've already been claimed. By me. By this. He gestured to the darkness that seemed to swirl around his wings. And there's no turning back. Before I could respond, the Alpha appeared from the shadows, stepping into the moonlight with his gold eyes flashing like fire. His lips were drawn tight, jaw set, and his stance radiated danger and authority. You can't let him do this to you, he growled. He's not what you think. He doesn't care about your heart. He will consume you, body and soul. I turned to him, trying to explain, trying to bridge the impossible distance between them and my own conflicting feelings, but my words caught in my throat. The fallen angel leaned closer. His voice was a whisper, a caress, a threat all at once. Do you feel it, this? He pressed his forehead to mine, silver eyes locked with mine, searching, demanding. Do you feel the pull? I could only nod, heart hammering, breath stolen. And then, without warning, he closed the distance. His lips were on mine before I could think. Not gentle, not slow, but urgent, consuming, desperate. The world around me, the trees, the moonlight, the Alpha's warning growl, everything faded into shadows and fire. My knees went weak. My hands pressed against his chest, feeling the strength beneath the wings, the pull of something darker than desire, and yet sweeter than life itself. It wasn't just a kiss. It was a claim. It was a warning. It was every emotion I had tried to deny, wrapped into one impossible, shattering moment. And then I heard it. A growl, deep and furious, and the Alpha was there, stepping into the clearing. His eyes blazed gold, body tensed like a predator ready to strike. No, he shouted, voice breaking. You can't, but it was too late. I was already lost. Lost in the taste, the heat, the magnetic pull of the fallen angel. My mind screamed, my heart ached, but my body betrayed me, pressing closer, needing him as much as I feared him. When he pulled back, even slightly, I could feel the ache between us, the unspoken promise that this could not be undone. My breath came in ragged gasps, my chest heaving as I tried to process what had just happened. You've changed everything, I whispered. He didn't answer. His eyes held mine, and in them, I saw centuries of loneliness, centuries of hunger, and for the first time, centuries of hope. The Alpha didn't move closer, but his presence pressed against me like a storm about to break. This changes nothing, he said finally, though the tension in his voice betrayed him. She's not yours. Not fully. Not yet. You can't claim her. Not without consequences. Consequences. The word rang in my ears, and I realized how true it was. Every heartbeat, every stolen breath, every inch of closeness to him was a step into a world I couldn't escape. Danger was closer than I thought. My life, my heart, was now a battleground. I wanted to look away from both of them, but I couldn't. The fallen angel had claimed something in me that I couldn't give back, and the Alpha had claimed my loyalty, my fear, my instinct for survival. And in that trembling moment, I realized that nothing would ever be the same again, because I had crossed the line. I had felt the kiss, the claim, the pull of something I shouldn't, and it had broken something inside me that couldn't be repaired. The forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting, watching, as if it knew what was coming next. The alpha's growl rose again, low and furious. The fallen angel's wings flared, dark as midnight. And I stood in the middle, heart torn, breath stolen, caught between desire and danger. And I knew, with a certainty that terrified me, that whatever came next would change everything. The night air was electric, charged with danger that made my skin prickle, and my heart hammer like a war drum. The forest had become a battlefield. Though the war was not between armies, it was between desire, survival, and destiny. The fallen angel stood before me, wings unfurled, shadows spilling from him like smoke, every inch of him taut with controlled power. Across from him the alpha loomed, gold eyes blazing, muscles coiled like springs ready to strike. And I was caught in the storm, my chest tight, every breath a battle. "You should have left," the alpha growled, his voice low and dangerous, cutting through the tension like steel. "You have no idea what he is, what he'll take from you." "I know exactly what he is," I said, my voice shaking but defiant. "And I can't leave him. I won't." The fallen angel stepped closer, wings curling around me, shadows brushing my skin like whispered promises. "You belong to me," he said, silver eyes locking with mine. "And I would tear the world apart for you if I had to. But you must understand what that means." "I understand," I whispered. "I'll take it. All of it." The alpha lunged then, sudden, fierce, the growl tearing from his throat as he charged toward him. Shadows collided, wings slicing through the night air, claws flashing like lightning. I screamed, my voice lost in the storm of sound, movement, and fury. The fallen angel's strength was beyond anything I had imagined, but the alpha was relentless, feeding off his own protective fire. I was paralyzed with terror and fascination, unable to look away, heart hammering as I realized just how fragile everything was. One wrong move, and either of them or both could be destroyed. "Stop," I cried, running forward, throwing myself between them. My hands gripped the fallen angel's chest, then the alpha's, trembling. "Please, stop this, stop." They froze for a heartbeat, eyes flashing, tension snapping like a wire about to break. The fallen angel's voice was low, hoarse. "You don't know what you're asking." "I do," I shouted. "I know I can't have both of you, but I also know I can't have either if you destroy each other. I can't lose either of you." The alpha growled, his teeth bared, muscles trembling. "You don't understand. He will take everything from you. Your life, your soul, and then enough." I screamed, tears stinging my eyes. I stepped closer to the fallen angel, ignoring the danger, the claws, the wings, the fire of their anger. "I choose him. I choose you." The fallen angel froze, silver eyes wide. The alpha recoiled slightly, shock and fury blending into a dangerous cocktail. I felt it then, the magnetic pull of the fallen angel's power wrapping around me, tugging me into the shadows and fire of his essence. I felt my heartbeat sink, with his, my breath stolen, my body trembling as if it had been waiting for this choice my entire life. I give you everything," I whispered, my lips barely brushing his ear. "Take it. Take me." And he did. His lips found mine again, urgent, claiming, desperate. Wings wrapped around me, shadows curling tight. And in that kiss, I understood the truth, the dark, terrifying, breathtaking truth. I was his. All of me, heart, breath, soul. And I didn't want it any other way. The alpha growled low, fury and grief clashing in his eyes. "You'll regret this," he said, voice breaking. You don't know what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, I whispered, pressing closer to the fallen angel. I'm choosing love, even if it destroys me. The forest seemed to hold its breath, time suspended, until finally the alpha turned, retreating into the shadows with a warning growl that promised he wasn't done. But at that moment, all I felt was the fallen angel's heartbeat against mine, the weight of his wings folding around me, the pull of darkness and light intertwined. He pulled back slightly, silver eyes glimmering in the moonlight. Do you know what this means? He asked, voice low, trembling with emotion I had never heard before. Yes, I said, gripping him tightly. I'm yours. Whatever comes, whatever it costs. He smiled, then not a cruel, predatory smile, but a broken, hopeful one. Then you are lost? To the world. And yet, perhaps, finally found. For a moment the chaos faded. The fire, the danger, the alpha's warnings, all of it faded, leaving only us. But I knew, deep in my bones, that the storm was far from over. Danger lingered, enemies watched, and my choice had shifted the entire game. I had given myself completely. And with that gift, I had also accepted the ultimate risk. Because in choosing him, I had made a promise, not just of love, but of surrender to shadows, to hunger, to a world where every heartbeat might be my last. And even in that knowledge, I would not turn back. The forest was quiet, but not the kind of quiet that brings peace. It was the quiet of survival, the kind that hums with the memory of danger, the echo of battles fought, and the lingering taste of fear. I stood at the edge of the clearing, the moonlight falling across the fallen angel's face, and for the first time, I let myself truly see him, not the predator, not the shadows, but the man or whatever he once was beneath the darkness. His wings were folded now, shadows curling gently around him, no longer threatening but protective. I took a step forward, feeling the ache in my chest, the residual pull of the night's chaos. I had chosen him. I had given him my last breath, my heart, my soul. And yet, the weight of that choice had not left me empty. It had made me stronger, braver, alive in ways I had never imagined. You're here, he said softly, silver eyes searching mine. I feared you would regret it, that the human in you would turn and run. I considered it, I admitted, voice low. But then I realized something. It isn't about fear. It's about life. And I choose life with you. All of it. Even the darkness. He reached for me, hands trembling slightly, and I stepped into him, feeling the warmth, the shadow, the fire that lived in his chest. We clung to each other for a moment that stretched into eternity, both of us silent, breathing each other in. You've changed everything, he murmured. Not just for you, but for me. For centuries, I've walked alone, feeding, hiding, fearing the world. And now, he swallowed hard, the weight of 100 lonely years heavy in his throat. Now I feel something I thought was impossible. Hope. I smiled, though my lips trembled. Then hold on to it, I whispered. Because I'm not going anywhere. The night had brought its consequences. The Alpha was gone, retreating. Yes, but not defeated. His presence lingered like a warning, a reminder that our world was fragile, and that the peace we had fought for was only temporary. But we had survived the storm. And survival, I realized, was not about victory over others. It was about the courage to embrace what you love, even when it terrifies you. I stepped back slightly, brushing my hand across his cheek. Do you regret it? I asked, my voice barely audible. Saving me, claiming me, all of it. His eyes glimmered with something I could only call vulnerability, the first real crack in the armor he had worn for centuries. No, he said simply. Not for a heartbeat. You've given me life in a way I never thought possible. And if I must walk in shadows for the rest of eternity, it will be worth it. Because of you. I swallowed hard, the weight of those words sinking into me. And if it's dangerous? I asked, almost afraid of my own answer. He smiled, a soft, broken curve of lips that made my knees weaken. Then we face it together. Whatever comes, whatever hunts us, whatever tries to tear us apart, we face it as one. For the first time since that night of fire, I felt a sense of peace. Not the fragile kind that comes with ignorance, but the fierce, uncheckable kind that comes from knowing you have chosen your own path, fully, and that the one you love has chosen it too. I looked up at him, at the silver glint of his eyes, the dark curve of his wings, and I realized that nothing could undo what had been done. I had crossed the line, given myself completely, and in doing so, I had claimed him as much as he had claimed me. And what about the world? I asked. The danger? The alpha? Everything waiting for us? He lifted me in his arms again, wings stretching out, shadows curling around us like a protective shield. The world will wait, he said, voice low, almost tender. For now, we have each other. And that is enough. For tonight. For tomorrow. For as long as we live. I rested my head against his chest, listening to the rhythm of his heartbeat, feeling the pull of eternity in every breath. And in that moment, I understood something I had never fully grasped before. Love is not safe. Love is not easy. Love is terrifying, consuming, and sometimes dark. But it is the one thing that can make even the most broken soul feel whole again. I've given you my last breath, I whispered, voice trembling. And yet, I've never felt more alive. He pressed his forehead to mine, shadows and fire intertwining between us. Then live, he said, and breathe, always, because whatever comes, we breathe together. And for the first time, I knew it was true. The fire, the darkness, the danger, they were part of us. That so was this the unshakable, undeniable bond that neither time, nor enemy, nor fear could ever break. I closed my eyes, letting the night wrap around us, letting the silence carry the echoes of what had been, and what would come. And I understood with every beat of my heart that some love is not meant to be simple. Some love is meant to be eternal, and I was ready.